The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. We'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me, hypnotized
Now, if I could just have a
by
master
the
chat,
sounds I'm breathing.
and I could type into one window and it would go to all three feeds, that would be amazing.
Chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping
What's
light,
going on, better?
paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights, paint the skies, only you.
Make me move. Make me move. Do.
Do you guys know what that means?
Make me. Yeah, you're just freezing? Yeah, man. So I'm finally back in ketosis from my little slip up over the weekend, so I have been fucking freezing again. Absolutely freezing.
I read squat, so
Chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight.
You know how rewind fucking shorts?
Dripping lights,
I had no idea you could rewind shorts.
all because of you.
We're here, Majestic Thursday. I got a busy day today. It's going to be a short stream. We're only going to go for about 2 hours today. nice and short. I got my weight loss doctor just after 2 p.m. and then I got physical therapy after that. So I have a busy day. Get some work done on some videos in the meantime. After that, should have some interesting stuff coming up. We are now 100 days of carnivore. We are 100 days of a carnivore. Actually, we're well past 100 days. We're probably like 105 to 110, but I'll have videos coming out for 100 days of carnivore here in the next little bit. I'll have a long form over the weekend. Have a short tomorrow, probably after the weigh-in. Very curious how the weigh-in is going to go tomorrow. I weighed this morning and was not happy with the numbers, so we are fasting today. I'm absolutely doing a 24-hour fast. Actually, the last I ate was 7 p.m. last night. And so it'll be 24, 36. It's going to end up being a 30, 37, 38-hour fast, something like that. Something along those lines. We'll see what happens. But I think even with a 36-hour fast, I'm probably going to be up on the scale this week. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. Plenty of time before then. Maybe I'll do... I got PT today. I wasn't going to do the gym today, but perhaps while I'm there, it's kitty corner to the gym. Maybe I'll just go do a steam, sweat some more weight out that way. Can do that, but then it's just turned into optics. I care about sweating fat out, not about what the goddamn scale says. So if I'm up, I'm up. It is what it is. We're still in the 450s, so that's all that matters. Didn't go back to the 60s yet, which is good. We like that. Very curious to see what my weight loss doctor is going to say today. We finally get to review my cholesterol numbers with her. I get to request my GLP go down another dosage. I'll tell you what, I have not had my GLP in 20 days. I take them on a 10-day cycle, and the 19th was the last time I was supposed to take a dose, and I didn't have it and completely forgot to order more, and here I am on, literally today should have been my next dose past that. So I am 20 days clean of the GLP right now, and I feel the exact same. I don't feel anything's changed. So very curious stuff there. I don't just want to flat out quit, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to talk to my doctor about it. We'll see what happens. She's like terrified of me quitting the shit. But since the last time I saw her, I'm down close to 30 pounds. So we'll see. We'll see. There should be some sort of happiness there or understanding. One would think, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's tuck me in the corner. We got Reed's weigh in today. Michaela Peterson had a nice video. I don't know if we're going to watch that steak and butter one. That's just a recipe. I am, however, going to watch this recipe. We're going to start on this one. Benny, we might be able to have Cheez-Its again. Carrie has a video on carnivore Cheez-Its, and I'm very, very interested.
Man, these things are great.
Oh, you're watching Bill and Daisy Alaska?
New YouTube channel, it's pretty awesome.
What are you eating?
Nothing.
That's not carnivore.
Cheez-Its. You want to try one?
No,
As
my
long as
stomach
you
kind of
don't-
hurts from yesterday.
As long as you don't tell anybody, no. Just try one.
No.
Why does your stomach hurt?
I.
What? Just try one. Do you want to know how I made them?
How'd you make them?
Let me show you. In today's video, I am going to make some legit carnivore Cheez-Its. Super simple. Takes less than 15 minutes to cook these, and they're a million times better than this highly processed
So he's
inflammatory
baking
junk.
Colby Jack.
If you stay tuned till the end of the video, you're also
The
going to
secret's
see
out.
how my daughter Emma poisoned me.
How you doing, by the way, Betty Bob? I know you were having some slip-ups there diet-wise and everything else. You back on track, or you still struggling?
Here is everything we need. Sliced Colby Jack cheese.
Called it.
Believe it or not, I actually think this
I know Colby Jack anywhere.
mozzarella is gonna work better, but I'm gonna do 2 batches. 2 cookie sheets over there, a little bit of parchment paper, a straw, a fork. We are going to put the oven at 275 degrees, and we're gonna cook it for about 40 minutes. So I started with the larger ones, and then I went to the more Cheez-It appropriate size. This is gonna be incredible. I've had the oven Preheating at 275. I'm gonna put it in there for about 40 minutes, and we should be good to go. It's only been like 15 minutes, but these were really thin. And the mozzarella ones they look like they're there. They're turning orange. These were white. I'm gonna pull these out. Those need a little more time.
A little more.
We're gonna go with the Salter electrolyte salt. See the salt? Look at the salt on there. Shut the front door. Oh my goodness. These are the mozzarella ones.
Yeah,
mozzarella.
I hear you, man. You open the floodgates, that's how it goes. I had my slip up last Sunday. I had a bunch of bags of cookies and goddamn potato chips and those little bite muffins. My wife had a box of each of those, like industrial size Sam's Club's box right outside my office. I walked past them for a week and a half. I walked past them, and finally the one day I just said, ugh, and grabbed like 3 bags of cookies and muffins and all that shit. And that was my day Sunday. And we're still paying the price for it. I am up. For my last weigh-in, I'm up like 5 pounds as of this morning. We're going to see what happens. I'm fasting. I'm fasting for the 36, so I bet you I come back down that 5. I bet you overall I'll still be up, but these fasts really are helping. Really are helping. They get me back on track super, super quick.
It doesn't taste, it tastes just like a Cheez-It. It has that, I don't know how it doesn't taste like mozzarella. It's got that orange Cheez-It taste. I don't know how to describe it. I got the mic right here too. All right, we're gonna listen for the crunch. This is better than the junk process. It's so good. Crusty, crispy, cheesy, salty. Let's try one of these big boys.
It's really good.
Fantastic. Got a little sour cream dip. Oh my goodness, what are we doing here? I wonder if this was the original thing, and then like everything else in the world, they had to turn it into a chemical science experiment, cheapen it as much as possible, make it shelf stable, put all sorts of cheap ingredients into it, and was this the original Cheez-It? Lo and behold, that is pretty much true. I did some research, and Cheez-Its were invented over 100 years ago in the 1920s. And they were actually made from real cheese. They were actually made from leftover cheese parts. They were cheese crackers.
A dainty
from legit
cheese
cheese
cracker.
when it started. At some point, Kellogg's acquired this brand, and here we are with shelf-stable kibble, science experiment ingredients. You can't pronounce half of them. All sorts of
High
like every
oleic
type
soybean,
of
soybean,
seed
palm,
oil,
and
highly
canola
inflammatory
oil.
processed oil you could imagine are in these now. Quick
soy,
interruption.
soy.
Beast Mode Soap sent me this soap, 100% beef tallow, free to try. This is certified grass-fed tallow, never vegan, made in the USA,
Wow.
natural essential oils. We got forest ash, paleo pine. We're in the pine forest. The forest ash is my favorite. I've been using it
I also
for a
have a
while
big
now.
decision to
They
make
sent this
tomorrow,
to me
Betty.
for free,
I have a very
but I
big
liked it so
decision
much
to
I
make
agreed to
tomorrow.
do a paid partnership with them
Tomorrow.
because I believe people need
Tomorrow
to know what they're putting on their
is
body. And
officially
the soap that I had at home is full of
60
chemicals,
days of lying.
detergents. Seriously, after I use this soap, my skin feels
And I
so
think I might
soft
call
and
it.
so incredible.
I think
what
I
you
might
put
call it.
on your
We're gonna
skin
see what happens.
ends
I'm
up
gonna
in
think
your
it over
bloodstream.
tonight,
And I only
and,
want to
we'll
put
talk
good
about it on
things
stream
in my
tomorrow.
body and on my body. And this, there couldn't be much better. This is 100% beef tallow. Learn more at beastmodesoap.com. Jen, you see what I made there?
I did.
You want to try? Show it to the camera.
Delicious.
All right, that is a 100% legit carnivore. Cheez-It, taste it.
And for the record, when I wasn't carnivore, cheeses were always my thing to go to because I love cheese. So.
Hear the crunch?
No kidding.
Stop eating that.
Well, once you have one, you can't stop.
Have a big one.
Yeah, right. I would house that
really
whole
like
tray.
the salt on it. That's like the hit of it.
Here's my lunch for tomorrow. I gotta stash these away before the girls eat them all. All of the girls tried this and they all love it. I said, go make your own. It's super simple. This is crazy because I have all of this. Like, this is heavy. This is real. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Out with the old garbage, in with the new.
I love cheese.
There's something about just eating in the old container, right? So we'll put that there.
I'm not shaming myself, but I am ashamed of the crap that I put in my mouth because I know the stuff I ate caused inflammation, caused me to snore, my blood pressure to go up. Yeah, I hear you. It's hard not to beat yourself up a little bit, but it is what it is. Back on track. Pretend it never happened. I'll tell you what. I've been today if I was eating would have been day 4 back online and everything else is my little slip up on Saturday there or Sunday. And dude, guess what my blood pressure was last night? My BP last night before bed, I was 110/60. Shit you not, 110/60. Absolutely phenomenal.
That's my lunch for tomorrow.
Later that night.
Late night
He
snack.
uses DaVinci Resolve. I know that record
There's
screen
nothing to
anywhere.
eat. What is this? Carnivore Cheez-Its? Why is there Cheez-Its here? Oh my gosh.
That bag wouldn't last me 2 seconds. Wouldn't last me 2 seconds.
These are so good. Just a few more.
86 crackers in here.
One more. Well, maybe just one more. One more. Well, bedtime.
Dun, dun, dun.
The next morning,
Man, my stomach kind of hurts now. Those were incredible. I gotta make some more of those. Oh man, that was good. My stomach is killing me. What?
Ba-dum-tsh.
Emma!
Ba-dum-tsh. Cordy. I like it, but man, Cordy. We're gonna look at some TikTok stuff. Let's look at you want to check out Reed? Let's see how Reed made out for the week. Reed started his GLP-1 shot, so I'm curious how he's making out.
It's time for my midweek weigh-in. As I told y'all, I'm gonna do 2 weigh-ins a week to try to hold me more accountable for the things I struggle with during the week and during the weekend. So Sunday, we were 479.6. So let's see what I am today. Boom. $474.2. That is
Big boy down 5. Big boy down 5.
4 pounds down since Sunday. That's over a pound a day. That's absolutely crazy. I was hoping coming into this that it would be 2 to 4 pounds. So 474.2. We're back on our way. I'll be back on Sunday for another weigh-in. The goal is just consistency. I can't expect 5 pounds every time, but consistently going down and consistently reaching towards my goals, which is losing weight, living a better life. So this is just the start of it, and we'll see where we're at come Sunday. Love y'all, Reed Squad. Hey.
I don't know how tall he actually is. Standard light switch. Dun, 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 So standard light switch is 4 foot. He can't be more than 5'1", 5'2". He's got to be like 5'2", maybe 5'3". At my weight, a foot shorter than me at my weight. That's a lot on them knees. That is a lot on them knees. So it's a good pleasure, but dang, yeah, I get pulses like that too, though. If I'm like up and down stairs or exerting myself or walking around the house doing stuff, I'm pretty frequently in the low hundreds like that. I'll tell you what, my resting heart rate last night was 54. I was 110/60 and 54. So super happy about that. All right, we got Reed's weigh-in. That we can check out. We got that we can check out. I kind of want to check out Michaela's video here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to let the dog out quick. I'll be right back, and we'll get into Michaela's video.
Like you, be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one, only one. I was an ordinary boy until I broke the rules. My life destroyed, life destroyed. Until I walk awake, scream my mind, I shout, the ground shakes. How much can I take? My mind will break. Will it break? Can I take? Can I be your superhero? Superhero. Can I be your superhero? Superhero. 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 Fly away. It's the first time of today. Today. To dream, believe. You are the strength, you're all I need. Oh, gonna give it a shot. Only one of me to shield you all from the enemy. You're a superhero. You're a superhero.
Arugula. Good heavens. Hey. I'm considering
Do you
going
guys
back
know
to
what that
keto.
means?
I'm
It
thinking
means
about it.
this girl can't call herself a carnivore anymore. Now, this has always been my theory. Heal the gut, add foods back in, easy peasy. However, it was not easy peasy. It is the first time in over 8 years that I've been able to eat anything other than ruminant meat without triggering an autoimmune or psych disorder. Not only does the diet work to put the vast majority of people into remission, but it means actual healing is possible. And I certainly needed more help than just eating meat and avoiding dietary triggers. In this video, I'm gonna cover what I've done in the last 10 years, what's worked, what's reduced my sensitivities, what didn't work, what reintroduction has been like, and tips for people looking to try this. So, let's get into it. Hey everyone, it has now officially been 8 years of the carnivore diet, specifically the lion diet, which is the most extreme elimination version of a carnivore diet, made up of only ruminant animal meat like beef or lamb and salt and water. I started it in a desperate attempt to treat severe psychiatric issues, including bipolar type 2 with major depression and juvenile idiopathic arthritis that I'd had since I was 2. That caused a hip and ankle replacement at 17 despite immunosuppressive treatment. So that's why I went on the diet in the first place, and now it's been 8 years of it, which is crazy. However, I have even bigger news than 8 years on the lion diet. Right before it was 8 years,
8 years on the lion diet, I can't imagine.
I started slowly reintroducing foods without major
hard to look
reactions.
at.
That's the big part. So I can't really say it's been 8 years on this diet. It's 8 years minus 2
we got
months,
a puppy.
but close enough, really. So
We
to
got a
reiterate,
puppy.
I've managed to reintroduce some foods without arthritic flare-ups or mood issues. It is the first time in over 8 years that I've been able to eat anything other than ruminant meat without triggering an autoimmune or psych disorder. Do you guys know what that means? One, it means this girl can't call herself a carnivore anymore. But importantly, more importantly, it means that not only does the diet work to put the vast majority of people into remission while they're on it, but it means actual healing is possible. Now, this has always been my theory, which is all over my website, liondiet.com. Heal the gut, add foods back in, easy peasy. The lion diet is supposed to be used as an elimination diet to give you symptom relief while you pursue the root cause. However, it was not easy peasy. It took me 8 years to be able to eat anything without getting arthritis or psych symptoms. So for a while there, the healing part felt like a pipe dream. Or I thought I was gonna be on a meat diet forever to stay in remission, which I would have been fine with. I would have been fine with, but it just felt like that wasn't addressing something that was still a problem. So in theory, the leaky gut, heal the gut, introduce foods sounded good, but in reality, getting there was harder than just heal your gut. It was not easily done, and I certainly needed more help than just eating meat, which is already a big enough deal, and avoiding dietary triggers. So here we are, we did it. In this video, I'm gonna cover what I've done in the last 10 years, what's worked, what's reduced my sensitivities, what didn't work, what reintroduction has been like, and tips for people looking to try this. And before we get into details, you may know this, I've launched the world's largest keto and carnivore study on the lion diet and keto diet and its impact on rheumatoid arthritis and IBD. The study is run by a medical team separate from me, but I'm trying to collect funding. I've linked the GoFundMe below. Donations are tax deductible. All the money will be used to fund the study. We're at $160,000 for funding. Thank you so much to everyone who donated.
Pretty cool.
We're
I'm
looking
super
for about
excited to see how this test is gonna
$300,000
go.
more, which is incredibly inexpensive actually for a study this size. As you guys know, studies like this are not easy to organize and impossible to fund because they don't rely on pharmaceuticals, so they don't get funding. If anything, they go against pharmaceutical companies. So it's up to people like me and you guys to get them done.
Yeah,
and
you're such a
doctors and
sucker for
researchers that are actually
scratches.
interested in helping people,
You're
not just
a
making money.
sucker for scratches.
So that's kind of pathetic. But here we are. And we have the study, and we have the team, and we have a bunch of funding. We're just looking for a bit more. So if you would like to support the study, it would be greatly appreciated. I think it could change the medical landscape. And now we
You
know,
won't let me stop scratching.
at least for me, as a case study, I'm eating things without getting arthritis. That is crazy. That's crazy. That hasn't happened to me, like I said, in 8 years, and I've had arthritis since I was 2. Now, the meat diet did put it in remission, but I couldn't eat anything other than meat until now. So we need some research because this is crazy. Whatever isn't supported by your guys' donations, I'm going to cover with business money thanks to Peterson Academy.
Get banned,
So this is getting
moron.
done either way, but I would like some more help. if possible. Or if you're in America, haven't tried the keto or carnivore diet, are
Well, it's just
diagnosed
Canadian,
formally
ain't
by a doctor with rheumatoid arthritis or IBD, and you're interested in taking part of the study, please consider applying. We're still looking for more people to take part in it. We want a bunch of people, so this is really taken seriously. You'll get coaching, you'll get a horde of tests done that you'll get results to, and maybe suffering with a disease might be able to stop other people suffering in the future, depending on the results of the study, of course. There's more info about the study linked on the GoFundMe page below and in my last YouTube video, and the link to apply to take part in the study and support it are in the description. Please share it. I think it could change how autoimmunity is treated eventually, and the current medical system doesn't treat autoimmunity. They have no idea what they're doing in that regard. None. So let's get into it. Let's start at the beginning.
Lay down.
I think this would be
Lay
good,
down.
of my diet journey. If you guys don't know, I didn't start my diet journey by only eating beef. First, I cut out gluten, and then when that mildly improved
go.
symptoms, out of curiosity, not because I actually thought it would do anything, I stopped eating processed foods, all processed foods, dairy, eggs, and most fruit, and was eating a very limited paleo diet to rule out diet as a factor in my illnesses. That was from mid-2015 to mid-2016. And from mid-2016 to December 2017, I was only eating meat and greens. So that was like meat, lettuce, collard greens, arugula, spinach, I don't know, greens. So I didn't go from the standard American diet to just beef. I went from basically the autoimmune paleo or GAPS diet, but stricter, to meat and greens to just beef over a period of 2 years. Those diets didn't work 100% for my autoimmune issues, or I wouldn't have done just beef. Now, what those initial paleo and keto-like diets did is they did reduce my symptoms massively and got me off of antidepressants, painkillers, and immune suppressants, among other medications. They definitely started my road to health with a bang, were extremely effective, just not 100% effective. And I cannot recommend paleo diets or dairy-free keto diets enough for general health for the average person.
Dairy being
However,
a very,
I
very
know there are a
large
lot of
key
people
factor
pushing
there.
the
As
animal-
we've been over numerous times. Just sucks. Dairy's got to be so goddamn good, but I just can't have it. Figured out numerous times that I just cannot do the dairy thing.
Based diet to treat disease. And I'm sure they help some people. But for people with severe disease, that type of dietary intervention or just cutting processed foods doesn't necessarily work. And sometimes you need to get way stricter. So in 2017, after my first pregnancy with Scarlett and moving into a moldy house, I wasn't aware of that at the time, but I know looking back, it had a leak in the basement and was definitely moldy. Those paleo and keto diets stopped helping really at all for my symptoms. I'm telling you guys the background here because the Lion Diet doesn't just work by cutting out processed foods. It's something more, and hopefully we're going to get into it with some research. A common comment I get from skeptics is, well, if you just cut processed foods, you'd get the same result. And that isn't right. I obviously didn't want to just eat beef, so obviously I tried everything else I could before giving up foods I love. Contrary to popular belief, but evident if you think about it for half a second, giving up all foods and only eating beef is actually extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of discipline. It's way harder than just giving up processed foods. So obviously I tried that first. It was also way harder to figure out I could actually survive only eating meat versus figure out trying to cut processed foods, which wasn't as obvious back in 2015, but it's pretty obvious now. So this comment about cutting processed foods and that leading to remission of severe disease and the reaction from people that some other diet would work that was less restricted is partly why we're going to be studying the Lion Diet versus the ketogenic diet versus the standard American diet for RA and IBD. We'll finally have a comparison study to see if the therapeutic effect of these diets is from ketosis and cutting processed foods or something more with the Lion Diet, like extreme elimination of plant foods that the body mistakenly starts reacting to once it gets too sick and the gut is damaged, which is my theory. But hopefully we'll have some actual data about this, which would be amazing. So, and excuse me if my voice is a little gravelly, I have a cold because I have children and it's the winter, so I have a cold. But it's not dietary, I promise. So in December
way it goes.
2017, I started eating only beef.
Children are amazing.
Knowing
My
that
God,
beef
little
didn't give me
disease
any
carriers.
symptoms thinking I'd be on the diet for 3 months, maybe less. All of these experiments are still on my blog, by the way, if you want to check out old blog posts from Confused Michaela. So December 2017 was after my arthritis came back during and after pregnancy, after a period of near remission on a meat and greens diet. My depression had also come back with a vengeance, although I was in antidepressant withdrawal at the time, so that makes the cause of the depression kind of complicated. It could have been antidepressant withdrawal, but regardless, I was depressed. So that kind of came back in 2017, and as anyone with depression knows, it's horrible. And that was the main reason. It was the arthritis too, but that was the main reason I was like, I need to get this under control. I don't want to go back on medication. I felt better. Now I'm feeling worse again. I felt better on the paleo and keto diets, and then I started feeling worse. And so out of desperation, I just went to just beef. My arthritic symptoms went away after 2 weeks of only eating beef. So
Not true
really
for me,
quickly.
sadly.
But again, I just went from beef and greens to just beef. After 6 weeks, I stopped crying in the mornings. Around then, I tried organic olives. I tried to reintroduce olives and had a huge arthritic flare-up, huge depressive flare-up, and decided I'd stick with the beef diet for longer. 5 months into the Lion diet and moving out of the house I'd been living in, which definitely had mold issues, like I said, I felt better than I had ever felt before. That was months before I ended up going on Joe Rogan talking about the carnivore diet and how it completely changed my life. After that, I didn't introduce any new food or even take a pill for years. Antidepressant withdrawal really spooked me for taking pills, and I was reactive to everything, and I knew that. I was reactive to fillers and pills. I was reactive to chemicals. I was being careful. I stopped wearing perfume. I was reacting to shampoo. I was reacting to everything. However, the first thing I did introduce was vodka. Now, I know that's not a health food in the least, and I feel like people discredit me because who is on a diet of meat and occasional vodka? But that's how you know I'm telling the truth about everything I'm saying here. I wouldn't add in the vodka part if it was a lie, because it just doesn't line up with the biohacking health story. To be honest, I wasn't really biohacking at that point. I think I wrote about this in the blog. I had non-toxic products, and I was unbelievably strict with my diet, but that was because I was reacting to everything, not because I was biohacking to biohack. I was just avoiding things that were obviously making me sick. So
like hearing her say after how long she's on Lion that it took 2 weeks to get rid of the arthritis symptoms makes me really want to call it tomorrow. Because I am 60 days. I've been very, very strict except for 2 little slip-ups along the way. 2 slip-ups in 60 days isn't bad, and my arthritis is still full bore, if not getting worse by the day. So I don't know if it's worth still going or not.
mainly I was trying to not be crazy and not have an autoimmune disorder. So for vodka, I missed socializing quite a bit, especially without being able to eat anywhere other than steakhouses, which I couldn't afford to do often at that point. Vodka didn't cause autoimmune flare-ups or mood issues, just unbelievably wicked hangovers on a no-carb diet. So then I was on a beef, salt, and occasional vodka diet for a number of years. In 2020, I tried to reintroduce some organic berries and salmon, which brought back arthritis eventually within a few weeks. And I could just tell it wasn't good. Like, I remember just going to the fridge in a stupor and being like, where are the berries? Which I used to do before I cut out carbs, just like end up with the fridge open being like, how did I get here? What just happened? And like, it felt like that started coming back when I reintroduced berries. And then the arthritis started coming back. And so I stopped, obviously. In 2021, I started eating only lamb instead of beef and lamb. And I was doing that for about 2 years. That was after moving to Nashville into a unit that flooded, and then most definitely had a mold issue because it flooded, with this much water all over it. And then they used a fan to dry it out, which does not stop mold problems. So you guys might remember I moved from Nashville to Miami because I thought I was having tree allergies in Nashville. And I was getting so foggy, and I was having trouble podcasting, and my face was really puffy, and I was like, whoa, these allergies are so bad. Turned out that was mold. Then I moved to Miami, where they have even worse mold problems, and got even sicker. It's almost impossible to avoid moldy HVACs in Miami. So in Miami, some of my old psych symptoms started again, not as severely as pre-diet, but worse than they'd been since I'd recovered from antidepressant withdrawal and was on the beef diet. I also got heart palpitations and insomnia in that moldy house, and I got so sensitive to histamine, I started to only eat lamb, which is lower in histamine, to avoid extreme digestive problems. Like beef was just, wasn't vibing with my stomach. Nothing was vibing living in mold. I also started the enzyme supplement DAO for histamine intolerance at that time, which helped a bit just to be able to tolerate lamb, really. I got diagnosed with chronic inflammatory response syndrome, CIRS, and started treatment for that. And I've got into details. There's a bunch of videos up about that. Started treatment for that, and more importantly, moved out of that house and strictly avoided mold. And I still strictly avoid mold. I believe the CIRS treatment and avoiding mold was the beginning of reducing my actual sensitivities rather than just avoiding triggering symptoms. I got pregnant almost immediately after moving out of mold. It was literally, I moved out of mold in February, didn't find a clean place till the beginning of April, and at the end of April, I was pregnant. And that was after having a miscarriage in the mold exposed house in Miami, which really surprised me because I was like, I'm on this diet. Why am I deteriorating when I haven't changed anything? I have non-toxic products. I have air purifiers. Like, what's going on? And then I ended up having
that's a big thing I really want to get. I do want to get a nice air purifier for my house. Just get all the detritus and pet dander and your fur from all over the place. And yeah, I'm talking to you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Bubba Bear.
Miscarriage, and that was in that moldy house. So I got pregnant as soon as I moved out of that, basically, and started CIRS treatment. I also started taking folinic acid, which is a tolerable form of folate for me. And I did that because I was pregnant. My folate was also low, which could easily be part of only eating meat. I wasn't even eating organs. So I'd keep an eye, anyone who's doing this, I would keep an eye on folate specifically, but I'd keep an eye on all your vitamins, especially because sick people's vitamins are always kind of wonky. So I started taking folinic acid, which didn't make me hyperstimulated like methylfolate or folic acid, which both make me feel terrible. I also started to be able to eat beef again after about 4 months of CIRS treatment. Like I said, my vitamins took a hit while I lived in mold, even though my parents' vitamins looked a lot better and they were on the same diet for the same amount of time, basically. So it was environmentally caused, which I hadn't even realized at the time could happen. I didn't realize purely your environment could impact your vitamins, but I mean, it seems more obvious now. So the vitamins, and most of them that were depleted were B vitamins. Was it just B vitamins? Yeah, and it flattened my hormones. My hormones were all messed up too. But that recovered actually pretty quickly given I got pregnant right away. But the vitamins recovered after a period of CIRS treatment, although I still supplement folinic acid. In the last few years, I've had 2 babies, under 2, which is so hard on the body. It's so hard. And so I've been continuing to monitor vitamins carefully to avoid deficiencies given how new this diet is and there's no research, et cetera, et cetera. The next big thing, in 2024, I did a gut treatment with Dr. Gabrielle Lyons' team, who I will have on the podcast right away. I did that after I had an anaphylactic reaction to I don't know what that ended up with me in emergency and on prednisone for about a week. After the prednisone treatment, I had H. pylori. Now, I think I had low levels of H. pylori before, and the prednisone dampened down my immune system, and H. pylori kind of took over. And it was horrible. And I was very desperate, and I could tell I had some sort of stomach infection. So I reached out to Gabrielle Lyon, and I got tested, and I had H. pylori. And I had I can't remember exactly what it was a protozoa parasite, which I was horrified about, and Candida, which
Candida's nasty
I was
shit,
really
man.
surprised about because I'd only been eating meat. So how on earth, how is it even surviving? So that was interesting. So I treated a bunch of things. I treated the H. pylori. So I bombarded myself with antibiotics, which I had been avoiding for years, and antiparasitics. And that, within weeks, completely
my dog
eliminated
knows
my
wife is
remaining
about to leave
histamine
for the week.
intolerance and any lingering digestive issues. And my digestion, after bombarding myself with the appropriate antibiotics and antiparasitics, my digestion and all my lingering digestive issues fixed themselves. So that, I think, was a huge factor in why I'm able to tolerate more foods now. So SIRS treatment, strict mold avoidance, and parasite treatment. And I think that's why I can tolerate some more foods. I am now a different human than I was when I started only eating beef out of desperation in December 2017. So now I guess we should get into what didn't work, because I did try a number of things over the years. Obviously, I thought something would click eventually, but I tried a whole bunch of things. Probiotics have never worked for me. Now, maybe now that I'm less reactive, maybe they would be beneficial now, and so in the future, and I'll keep you guys updated, I'll probably try them again. But over the years, I have tried probiotics. I tried them before the meat diet, on the paleo diet. I tried them before dieting at all. I've tried them recently. They do not make me feel good. It doesn't matter if they're low histamine or spore biotics. It doesn't matter. I think if you have a damaged gut, sometimes the wrong probiotic or even the right probiotic, if it's just leaking into your body, it doesn't matter if it's supposed to be healthy. You have to fix the gut barrier first. This is all in theory, but in theory, at least it's logical. Hyperbaric oxygen, no noticeable difference at all. I definitely find it relaxing, and I can nap. I have excellent naps in there, so I'm sure it's helpful. I know it's good for healing. Like, there's definitely evidence that that's good for you, but it didn't make a noticeable difference to me to reduce sensitivities. It certainly doesn't hurt, but it just didn't move the needle. IV NAD,
We do got a
felt
puppy,
like being
Bucky.
hooked to
We
a battery.
do got a puppy.
I've done over 18 of those treatments,
My wife's
no
about to
noticeable
pack
difference,
up
and it
leave
felt
for the
awful.
week, so he knows what's going on.
Glutathione also
He's
can
being a
be
needy
helpful
little
to people.
creature.
I couldn't tolerate this until like 2 weeks ago when I got less reactive. It used to make me feel terrible too, so that never
You
helped, even though my
sound
glutathione
asleep
levels
right
were
now.
low. Most vitamins I couldn't tolerate, so those didn't help. What else did I try? I did EBU for mold, which is a type of blood
You're
filtration.
so
Maybe it
out
felt
right
kind
now.
of good. I've done tons of ozone. Again,
Which is fantastic.
probably a little
'cause
bit
it's the best
relaxing,
thing
but
in the
none
world,
of it
but I
really
also kinda wanna put
changed
him down,
my
but I can't
reactivity.
because he's sleeping, and that would
What
make me a
did
jerk.
move the needle? So saunas I've always found beneficial in a noticeable way, although I don't think that actually reduced sensitivities, but it was helpful going through antidepressant withdrawal and living in mold. So not helpful for like long-term reduced sensitivities, but to mitigate symptoms at the time, noticeable. KPV peptide. So I've gotten more interested in peptides. I tried BPC 157 years and years ago. That made no difference. Like, no noticeable difference. The peptides weren't the cure. But KPV, which is supposed to reduce
Yeah, she's always
inflammation,
been,
I at least
rather
noticed
easy to look
made
at,
me
we'll put it
feel a
that way.
little bit better. When I was taking BPC 157, I didn't notice anything. It didn't change anything. I was still reactive. But this was before mold. This was before parasite treatment. So maybe now it would be beneficial. What else? Folinic acid.
I kind
I
of want to
think
try
has
BPC
made me
157,
feel
but I'm so scared of
physiologically
getting a
calmer,
bad batch. 'Cause
but it's very
like,
minor.
unregulated.
So I don't even know if I should really
I don't know
include
how to
that in
go about
something that
finding
moved the
one
needle.
that's got good
However,
purity and
folinic acid is
clean
something I would
and not
actually
got
recommend to
bullshit in
people
it.
doing the carnivore diet now, especially women who are having babies. DAO enzymes, like I talked about, useful for histamine intolerance. I don't use them anymore because I don't have histamine intolerance anymore, but they got me through severe histamine intolerance due to mold exposure. Parasite treatment. That was a game changer. Treating H. pylori was huge. Now, I had gone to doctors and done parasite testing before. I did that before I got on the beef diet multiple times.
Oh yeah,
I have
looked
so
at the
much
scale
testing
today.
done
I
on
was
my
not
body,
happy
it's
with it.
ridiculous.
Not happy
If
with
Brian
it.
Johnson
I'm
didn't
doing a
exist,
36-hour fast right now.
and the recent biohacking
I ate
people,
last night at
I know a
7
couple of
p.m.
them,
I won't be eating
didn't
till
exist,
tomorrow sometime.
I wouldn't know anyone who had more
Fasting out,
testing
trying to
done
get that
than
scale
I've
down
had
a little
on
bit, 'cause I
myself.
was not thrilled
And nobody
today.
ever
Not
found
thrilled.
anything. So until recently, until I talked to Gabrielle Lyon and she did different
Yay.
tests. So here's what I would recommend
Lose
for
weight.
parasite testing. Do a GI map test. It's a certain type of stool test. That shows some things, but it's going to miss like most parasites, but it'll show dysbiosis. So if H. pylori shows up there, treat it with quad therapy antibiotic treatment. I know
Is
there's a
what it
lot
is,
of
man.
like
Is
go to a
what it is.
naturopath, you can
with
naturally
it,
treat
move
H.
on. That's all you
pylori.
can
Maybe
do.
that works for some people. That did not work for me.
With the
I needed
fast,
to
I'll probably
wallop
get
that
back
with
down to close
antibiotic
to where I
treatment.
was. It'll still
And
be up
it
for sure, but
was huge difference. And
Oh,
my
well.
husband did too.
shit
And I don't know
happens.
who had it first. It's very, very common.
My
though.
activity's
we
been
had
very
somebody
low.
who works
I
with
wanna
us
say it's been low
who
this
was
week.
throwing up.
I've been very, very active with the physical therapy stuff. Ooh, don't fall, Bubba. I've been very active with the physical therapy stuff, and I don't know. I've been to the gym once this week. You getting down? You getting down? See ya. Oh. 3-day the start of the month. Yeah, starting February. We'll be starting out with one, which is what, Monday, I believe. First Sunday. So we're gonna do Mondays. We're gonna do Mondays to keep it on track. So it'll be starting at the 2nd. Right. I think that's the 2nd, right? Monday's February 2nd. So we'll have a big fast going into next week. We're doing one today. So I mean, like I said, the scale's probably gonna be up tomorrow. Is what it is. I had my little slip up on Sunday there, so shit happens. I knew it was going to be bad from Sunday, which is funny because I didn't really eat a whole lot on Sunday, but I had some bad shit on Sunday. It was unavoidable, sadly. It'd been staring me in the face for a week. Yeah, last Sunday I had a bad day. There was literally outside. If I walk out the door of my office right now, there are 3 industrial-sized boxes. One of cookies, one of muffins, one of chips, and it's my wife's stash of gross food that she takes on the road with her, and I walked past it for a week straight, and finally Sunday I just caved. I ended up having a couple bags of cookies and some other shit sitting out there, so I had a bad day on Sunday, and I'm paying the price for it now. I've been back locked in since Monday. It was a 1-day slip up. Didn't carry into multiple days, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Sorry, she's ovulating or nursing or something. Benny, she got you feeling some sort of way today, huh?
After he ate for a number of days, went to emergency. They couldn't find anything in
Yeah,
emergency.
1 day's
and he
better
kept
than
having
multiple. It wasn't even like carrying into like dinner or anything like that. It was a couple bags of bad snacks. That's all that really happened there. So, but we're definitely up some pounds. We're still in the 450s. We're still in the 450s, so it's not crazy bad. Doing this 36-hour fast, I'll probably drop 3.5, maybe 4 pounds by weigh-in time. So I should be fairly close to where I was. If not, maybe a pound or 2 up. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll see what happens in the morning. But it's gonna be a good day. Short stream today. We're only gonna go for about another hour and 10 minutes today. I have my weight loss doctor this afternoon, right around 2 o'clock. So as soon as I finish stream, I'll be jumping on a virtual appointment with her. We are going to reduce the dosage of my GLP again, which should put me down to the lowest dose, I think. Close to lowest. No, I'm on a 7.5 right now. I think there's a 5 and a 2. But I think I want to go down to the 5, maybe the 2. I might go down to the 2.5, the lowest dose, and just ride that for a couple weeks. And if I'm feeling okay with it, I might just drop the GLP as a whole. But going to be interesting. We're going to review my cholesterol and all that stuff. So we're going to see what's going on there. Well, we already know what's going on there. I'm very curious to see what she's going to say about it, that it's down. But, yeah. What you doing, pup? What you doing? Why don't you curl up? Why don't you curl up? But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I got that. Then I have an actual in-house physical therapy appointment around 4 o'clock. So, busy afternoon for
this
me.
happened, and he told us some of his symptoms, and I was like, okay, that sounds like H. pylori. It was like burning. I'll get into the symptoms in a sec. He did quad therapy and hasn't had antibiotic treatment, and hasn't had any issues anymore. So this is really common.
Well, my hang around
between
2,000 to 2,500, right around there. Honestly, I eat the same shit every day. Around 200 grams of ground beef and around 500 grams of chuck steak, which puts me anywhere between 1,800 to, or whatever the chuck steak weighs. I don't weigh out 500 grams and just eat that. I pull out 2 steaks, and if it's 450 grams, I eat that. If it's 600 grams, I eat that. So anywhere roughly, I'd say between 1,800 to 2,500, somewhere right in there. Hasn't been bad. I'm getting real tired of lion diet though. restricted down to just beef and lamb and water and salt. It's getting old. But we got the weekend. So at the end of the weekend, it's going to be 60 days of lion. I might potentially call it there and go back to carnivore. We're going to see what happens. Most people who see major benefits on their arthritis on lion diet see it in a relatively short amount of time, and it's been 60 days, and mine is only getting worse. So I think the experiment is kind of failing there. Or maybe not. Maybe I just need to do it for 5 years straight. 60, good cutoff? Yeah. Yeah, diet's been locked in. I had that slip up Sunday, and I haven't been to the gym much. I've been doing my physical therapy at home. That's honestly putting enough strain on my joints. I haven't been wanting to do the gym too much. Tomorrow morning, I will be doing the gym. I'll be at the gym tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Short little gym session in the AM. We'll talk about it on stream tomorrow. We'll talk about what I'm going to do with lion diet on stream tomorrow. We'll figure it out. Gives me 2 weeks before Dave Mack. Yeah. I think 60 is a really good cutoff. I've done the experiment. I've seen what I needed to see. I'm lacking the diversity. I would love Sunday or Monday. Well, Monday's starting the 72-hour fast, so Monday won't work. I can go shop on the fast. That's a tough one, shopping on a fast. But I'll tell you what, Monday I would love to be making a video on going out and getting eggs and bacon and some ham and some salmon again and all that shit I've been missing. I swear my joints felt better on base carnivore. I think a lot of it's maybe just the omega-3s I'm not getting. B12 I'm probably a little light on. We'll have to see. That been the only slip up since New Year's? Yeah, that's the only time I've slipped up since New Year's. Don't forget the sardines. I don't know about them goddamn things. Maybe I'll grab some sardines to try. Maybe I'll grab some to try. But we'll see. We're gonna have a big discussion on stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's a normal stream, full 4 hours. Today, like I said, we only got about an hour left today before I got to start doing appointments and stuff. But tomorrow we'll have a nice long stream. I'm going to put out tonight. There'll be a big announcement tomorrow, and I think if we get a bunch of people in, we'll kind of do a pros and cons of stopping at 60 days and see what we come up with and decide from there. So maybe I'll ride it out for the 90. Maybe I'll just do the 60. We'll see what happens. But I think 60's pretty solid, man. 60 is really, really solid. And I'm going to start reintroducing stuff slow too. So if we call it at 60, that's Sunday. Then we go into a 3-day fast for our first 3-day fast of the year. And then probably coming out of that, we'll do eggs. I'm going to do 2-day cycles. So I'm going to reintroduce a food, and then I'm going to wait 2 days to make sure everything's copacetic. I don't have more inflammation. I don't have more swelling. I don't feel better. I don't feel worse. We'll see what happens there. And then once we make it the 2 days, if the food looks good, then bam, we'll reintroduce something else. Good brand like King Oscars? Yeah, for sure. What's going on, McCarthy? Yeah, eggs are a safe bet for a start, and I'm not going to bullshit you. I feel so confident on eggs, I'm probably just going to house a dozen of them. The minute I come off a 36-hour fast, I am going to house a dozen eggs. One thing I do want to reintroduce fairly early, too, and it'll probably be the next thing after eggs, is pepper. I miss having pepper as a seasoning. Hopefully it's not a trigger for anything, but being salt only for a while, I need, come on, match made in heaven. Salt and pepper, man. Match made in heaven. Bacon messes with you ever so slightly? Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Bacon, I've noticed, too, is when there's so much stuff mixed into it. It's so hard just to find clean bacon anymore. But we're going to wait a little bit on bacon. I'm not in a huge rush for bacon by any means. Eggs first, peppers second. Dairy, I do want to try and reintroduce, but it's gonna be a while. It's gonna be a while before I try dairy. Pepper sauce or mustard to help them go down. Yeah. Yesterday I started my carnivore diet. I ate eggs, bacon, and ground beef, all cooked in butter and salted. There you go, McCarthy. How'd it feel? It's the easiest diet to follow. It's the easiest diet to follow, man. It's so good. It's so good. You feel like you're eating like a king the whole time. Negative. He is just starting. He is just starting out his carnivore voyage. He is doing 90 days, if I remember correct. 90 days, starting today. I'm hitting my 60 days of lying on Sunday. Wait, 29th, 30th, 31st. No, Saturday. Saturday will be 60 days of 60 days of lion diet. I am considering stopping at 60, going back to carnivore. And yeah, we're going to start slowly reintroducing stuff. And we do that. Again, like I said, I'll put out an announcement tonight saying big talk on stream tomorrow. We'll see if we can get a bunch of people in. We'll do a pros and cons list and see what we come up with. Maybe I'll still do the 90, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Weigh in tomorrow, dictate things a little bit. We'll see how the weigh-in goes. Like I said, I'm wholeheartedly expecting to be up at least 2 or 3 pounds from where I was. Where was I? Last Friday I was 454.4. I'm probably going to be 456, 457 on this one if I had to take a guess. We'll see what happens, though. That Sunday slip-up, man, it cost me. It cost me. A couple bags of cookies and some chips and muffin, dude. Like, goddamn, just instant 5-pound gain.
In offices is notoriously useless. Symptoms can be a gnawing feeling in your solar plexus. So, like, right here, this gnawing, empty feeling, that's a big sign. Bad breath. Like in more severe cases, acid.
I get constant, and it's funny because like if I say this, what I'm about to say, trust me, has been going on for over a decade. It's been checked out by multiple cardiac and GI doctors. It's not a heart problem, but what I'm about to say sounds like a heart problem. So I have constant pain on the left side of my ribs. And a lot of the time it travels up into my chest, right above my heart. Again, like I said, this sounds scary, but it's truly not. And I think it's just gas pressure. There's literally a pocket somewhere in my chest that tore open or something's ripped or something where I'm getting gas pockets inside my chest. And the pain will actually travel down my left arm. Again, I said this is going to sound scary. I got rushed, when this started happening 10 years ago, I got rushed to the ER thinking I was having a heart attack. At least... God, I'd have to ask the wife. At least 8 or 9 times we got rushed to the ER. Left arm numb, massive pressure, chest pain, and it still happens to this day. It's a nonstop issue I've had, and it's not cardiac. Like I said, I've been up and down through cardiac echoes, EKGs, stress test, all the fun stuff. I had a full cardiac catheterization in 2014, I want to say, when this whole thing started, and everything's good. Everything is absolutely fantastic cardiac-wise, but yeah, I still get just this weird pain in the left side of my ribs, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I'm very curious to see if it's just the weight hanging off of me, my man boobs dragging my chest down, or something like that. I don't know. We're going to find out more as the weight comes off, but super curious to see. Super curious to see if that's going to clear up or
reflux
not.
Or even vomiting. Plaque buildup. That can be caused by H. pylori. So can frequent cavities. Like if your diet...
Bro, I just had my teeth cleaned. I had a tooth cleaning 2 weeks ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago I had my teeth cleaned. I'm already ready for another one. Dude, it feels so good to get your teeth cleaned. Like, I wish I could just have a full tooth cleaning appointment like every 2 or 3 weeks. That would be absolutely amazing.
Diet is good and you're getting frequent cavities.
But no, I have to wait 6 months for another one.
You should look into H. pylori. Or at least dysbiosis, but H. pylori. For me, when it got bad, I definitely had the gnawing feeling in my stomach. But before that, when I know I had it, because I have old stool tests,
I'm curious if she did ivermectin
in moderate levels, but everyone I talked to was like, don't worry, it's fine, it's normal. I really do think that was contributing to a lot of my inability to tolerate foods. And the symptoms weren't really noticeable. It just kind of showed up on the GI map in moderate amounts, and I had extreme food sensitivities. So maybe that was the symptom. I do think even treating the moderate levels would have helped me a lot. I also treated a protozoa parasite, which I think you can get from like lake water or something. It's a pretty common one.
Gotta be ivermectin.
It horrified me to learn I had a parasite.
Ivermectin or fenbendazole.
I live in a clean country. I can't get parasites. Turns out that entire thing is wrong. So that might have helped as well, but the H. pylori treatment definitely helped. I used to think parasite treatment was kind of woo-woo. I feel like I got into an algorithm on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like,
Michaela's
everybody
great,
has
man. Michaela's
parasites,
great.
and like this is what they look
She's
like.
like the
I don't know
queen
who
of
else has been
lion
on that
diet. The
algorithm.
one I'm doing
And I was
right
just
now,
like,
she
okay,
is
we're
like
not
the
going to go down
founder
that
of the
rabbit
lion
hole because
diet,
that seems a little
basically.
out there. Like, we live in a clean country.
But they're actually doing, they're taking in large donations right now. They're about to do like a huge study on keto, carnivore, paleo, stuff like that. It's going to be super, super interesting. I think they're starting it here pretty soon in the next month or two.
And I avoided antibiotics like the plague because of all my gut issues, and I didn't know if those stemmed from antibiotic use as a kid. Anyway, it's not woo-woo. And
It's not woo-woo.
the antibiotics that I took were definitely worth it. I avoided taking metronidazole or fluoroquinolone antibiotics, but I did everything else by the regular medical treatment book. So I cannot recommend this enough. Like, really looking into this.
I really want to do a regimen of ivermectin and fenbendazole. They're both anti-parasitics. It's something you take ivermectin anytime I feel sick. Where do you get it from? Where do you source like actual quality ivermectin from? I'm super curious. Because doctors, I mean, none of my doctors would give me ivermectin or fenbendazole. I'm also considering trying out BPC 157. My problem is with all these is finding clean and pure sources is very hard. But if you got a cool spot for ivermectin, let me know. I really want to try an ivermectin regimen for the Lyme disease and see if potentially it could help.
Seriously, for anyone with food sensitivities and gut issues or even fatigue and skin issues, the problem is the regular testing misses them. So if you go to the doctor...
There's people, I'm telling you, dude, mid-COVID, man, I had friends out west all telling me that, like, dude, we ain't touching no vaccine. We ain't doing this. They were taking ivermectin and fenbenda for COVID. It was like clearing their COVID in like 1 or 2 days. Like,
when you do a parasite test, it's just going to be negative. In North America, this is what I learned over the last couple of years. In North America, they mainly do PCR testing. And I had to send a stool sample to Africa to get looked at under a microscope in the old-fashioned way to pick anything up. So we've gotten so advanced, we think we don't have parasites in America, when in reality, we just can't test for them anymore. Brilliant. So this is most likely, this and the mold exposure seem to be why I've been stuck only eating meat for 8 years and going to regular doctors. They don't believe in mold and they can't test for parasites. Brilliant. You can't hate the mainstream medical system enough. That being said, once I got a doctor that knew how to treat parasites, the mainstream medical treatment of parasites really did work. So it's tricky. So yeah, rule out H. pylori using the GI map test. Everybody can get that. Treat it if it's there. I
have to get the name for it. Yeah, sounds good. If you just want to send it to me on Discord or something,
Lion,
I'd super
have on,
appreciate
like I said. If you can afford her, that's great. But to be perfectly
curious.
honest,
I need to find
it's
something
not
I can
affordable
get
for most
BPC
people,
157
which is
too.
unfortunate. And hopefully,
there's a lot of people out there saying the BPC 157 is repairing cartilage damage and stuff like that. So it's very interesting stuff. A lot of animal studies. There's not a lot of human trials done. There are some scary looking side effects potentially, but animal trials looked amazing. No, doctors, there's such a thing around the whole ivermectin shit, man. They just won't hand it out. They won't. Next time I see her, I'm going to try to see what happened. My Lyme specialist probably would, but my Lyme specialist I haven't seen in a decade. I got diagnosed with the Lyme, and I went back to see him 5 or 6 times over the course of treatment for a year, and then I saw no improvements with the Lyme in years after I completed the initial treatment stuff. So I kind of just quit going to him, and I number one, I know his practice is still open. I don't know if he's still practicing. He was like 80 when I was seeing him last time. This was 10 years ago. So if he's still practicing, he's like 90 years old. I assume he would give it to me, potentially, but I'm going to have to wait a while to get back in to see him. So we'll see what happens there. Very curious to see. When
more people start talking about this and she's spreading awareness too, it'll get cheaper. The testing will get cheaper. I would do the GI map test though. That'll still run you about $300 to $400 depending on the naturopath doing it, but it's worth it. If you can't afford that, and you have symptoms of parasites or extreme food sensitivities and gut issues and autoimmunity, I'm not going to say just do the treatment without testing, but figure out how to do something and don't wait 7 to 8 years like me. H. pylori treatment, the actual treatment, the antibiotics, wasn't really a big deal for me. And I thought I was going to feel terrible on them. I didn't feel good on them, but I felt a lot better at getting rid of H. pylori. And anti-parasitic drugs are quite safe. They give them to pregnant people in some countries. It's just it's really worth looking into.
Yeah.
First world countries are stupid and naive, thinking they're somehow cleaner than countries that commonly treat
Yeah,
parasites.
yeah, I'm saying, like, dude,
cleaner
doctors aren't allowed to start tossing ivermectin out, man. They just will not do it. They will not do it.
water. So I guess there's that. But we have worse testing. I'm still fired up about this because it's like, here we are thinking we're dealing with something really complicated with autoimmunity and these new diseases we have, and now I can eat things because I'm not living in mold and I got rid of parasites, which we've been dealing with forever. Anyway, I kind of want to tackle the parasite testing thing after the study on the Lion diet and keto diet is out, maybe after that. The next huge thing that reduced my sensitivities, SIRS and mold treatment. I grew up in a basement in downtown Toronto in a 100-year-old house. There was black mold behind the drywall from a plumber who left a cap off when my parents renovated. It honestly smelled like a sewer down there. We should have known that there was mold.
Is she U.S. or is she still living in Canada? What's going on, Roger? What's up?
It is no wonder I was so mentally ill as a kid. But that was when you thought you could just blow a fan at mold and didn't know mold was toxic. You could have a mold allergy.
Yeah, mold's
but you
nasty
could have a disease
shit. I got
or
my house
caused.
is completely clear. We're gonna have to replace. They're Canadian still. Gotcha. We are gonna have to take a look at replacing a bunch of sheetrock in my bathroom. Yeah. I got some in the bathroom I gotta take care of. We have an old shower, combo tub shower. And right where the top of it ends, it's sheetrock up to the ceiling, and that sheetrock's getting nice and beat up. So I got some drywall to replace. I do need to redo my entire bathroom at some point. My bathroom needs an overhaul. But unfortunately, the biggest thing I need to do right now, I don't know if you guys saw my short last night from doing the exercises in my house. You got in-wall vents? No, I don't. Nope. Nope, we just got baseboards and stuff like that. There's no actual vents through the house. I've checked everything else, so everything else. It does get a little damp where I am in the basement now, but I do run dehumidifiers down here constantly. Ever since we moved in, we've constantly dehumidified the bottom floor to make sure moisture's not getting in here. And yeah, I would do my bathroom sooner, but I do need to fix my stairs. My stairs are not anywhere near up to code. I don't know if you saw my video last night where I was doing the leg stretch on my stairs. That's more of a ladder. Like, I don't even have stairs. I essentially have a ladder in between floors of my house. That's not helping my knees at all. So probably within the next month or two, we got new stairs coming in. So we got to spend some money on that and do some stuff there. But overall, my house is very, very mold free. I keep it very, very dry, very, very clean. I am a sucker for an absolutely clean house. I love clean living spaces. So, but there is some in the bathroom to take care of. Definitely some in the bathroom to take care of.
By mold, which
it's all
most
in the
people
ceiling
don't
too.
know
It's
now
like you're
and can
staring
definitely
straight
happen.
in the face of it when you're taking a shower.
The tricky thing with SIRS and mold illness is it doesn't hit everyone in the house necessarily or equally. So people don't attribute illnesses in these houses that are making people sick to the environment. Anyway, after recovering on the Lion diet and then 5 years into the diet, getting so sick from some similar symptoms to childhood, like I said, insomnia, waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning, panicking, heart palpitations, extreme volatility, like slamming doors, even if I didn't really have anything to be mad at, known as mold rage in the mold community. Massive amounts of fatigue, muscle pain everywhere, bruising that wasn't healing, leg weakness, like one side of my body felt like it was going to collapse. It was not pleasant. The first symptoms started in Nashville. Oh, and my eyes got really bloodshot and crusty, and I always had extra mucus, like my nose was just running all the time. Anyway, the symptoms started in Nashville in the unit that flooded and worsened in Miami. Attributing all of that to SIRS was huge. That was February 2023.
What's going on, existence?
Moving out of Miami was the biggest thing. I literally threw away all my stuff out of concern and just picked up and moved. We moved to Arizona. And when I say I was on the verge of living in a tent back then, I'm serious. I had an Instacart filled with tent equipment, and it was April in Arizona, so totally doable. And I wanted my brain back as fast as possible. I had no internal dialogue. I had to pause the podcast. I had to pause working for my dad briefly because I literally couldn't figure out how to answer an email. I was having chemical sensitivities again. I had resolved those in 2018 after the Lion diet, after about 6 months on the Lion diet, and they were back. I even developed an intolerance to vodka. I was like, no, my vodka's gone. Walking through buildings where the air wasn't perfectly clean would give me pain all over my body.
The booze couldn't have been helping. That whole time
Crazy.
she was doing
I
it,
felt
the booze
like a
definitely couldn't have been
lunatic,
helping the situation.
more than I already feel normally. Although I feel less like a lunatic now that I can tolerate other foods. But with mold exposure, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm turning into one of those people with a tinfoil hat, but seriously. Luckily, Jordan, husband, found a hotel that was clean
Set up
enough
in a
that we
state
didn't
park.
react
Whew,
in there.
it's
And
hot.
after a month
It's
out of
hot
that
down
house,
there. It's too hot for
out
me.
of the Miami house and on cholestyramine, which is one of the
I like my
binders used for
70, 80
SIRS that
degree
works really
summers,
well
not my
for me.
120
I
degree
felt
summers.
probably 70% better. A lot of the
I got a lot of
neuropathic
friends
pain
down
went
in
away.
Arizona, though. I got some
My
in
brain
Phoenix,
came
some in
back.
Tucson.
So since then,
Bunch of guys I
my
used to game with.
sensitivities
Come
to
back
mold
up.
have reduced.
Come on, come back up
It's
here.
basically been 3 years.
Yeah,
So it's
hey,
taken
we got
a
a puppy
while.
again.
And I'm still hyper
We got a
careful.
puppy
I
again.
honestly eat outdoors most of the time on patios
We
or in
got a
Arizona,
puppy
so it doesn't matter.
again.
Or I'll go to new buildings. I can travel now and stay in hotels without being completely obliterated.
I used to live out of hotels.
We have an
when I worked
ERV.
traveling
This is a
sales,
really big
oh my
deal,
God,
too.
I was
Sorry this
shitbag
is going
hotel to
on.
shitbag hotel.
I'll just turn this
nonstop.
into a podcast episode. But there's a lot to catch up on what's worked. What was really good for mold illness and reducing sensitivities was adding an ERV to our HVAC. And we have a Super V filter on top of that. So
I do
an
want to get an
ERV
air purifier.
actually brings
I very, very
in
much want
fresh
to get
air
an
to the
air purifier
house
for my house, though.
compared to HVACs. That's been a game changer, just bringing fresh air in. And we moved to Arizona, we bought a new house, we upgraded the HVAC, and I still didn't feel 100%. And 24 hours after adding an ERV to the HVAC, it smelled like a mountain inside. I was like, oh, okay, this is a game changer. So an ERV was really helpful. The Super V filter is helpful. I'll get into
My
that in a
dog's
minute.
being very, very
But
needy
to summarize,
today.
if you have an
Very
autoimmune
needy.
disorder, you should try this diet as an elimination diet. If you have a psych disorder, you should get on this diet. You should at least do a ketogenic diet, but you might be sensitive. You might be as sensitive as I was. It helps so much, it's hard to believe, which is why people don't believe it and why we don't have very many studies. We're starting to get carnivore studies. There are quite a few ketogenic diet studies now, but it's hard to believe, so people don't believe it. So we don't have evidence for it. So people continue to not believe it. But soon we will have a study. I find, and people find, they can get relief after 6 weeks to 6 months, generally speaking, depending on the meds you might be on, that you can think enough to start delving into your problems without suffering as much. Psych meds obviously complicated my recovery. I went through 2 years of withdrawal after suddenly stopping, which
That's
you
my
should not
big
do.
concern, too. I mean,
from-
she's talking about coming off antidepressants and stuff. I have been on so many antidepressants and anti-anxiety meds for so long that I'm very curious what getting off of them could potentially look like. I think it's going to be a very interesting process with a lot of potential for bad stuff. You think about how bad these things affect your brain and your psyche and signal receptors in your brain. It's an interesting thing to mess with. Very interesting thing to mess with. As down the road still. I need those to keep me going for
2015 to 2017, that was on the paleo and keto diet, that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy. That withdrawal is horrible. I'd been on Cipralex, also known as Lexapro, on a high dose of 20 milligrams for 10 years and through developmental years, so from 12 to 22. And oof, I can see how people sometimes can't get off of them because it hurt. And the diet really helped me get through that. So try the diet. And then when you have the energy, install an ERV in your HVAC to get fresh air in your house. There are a couple of $1,000s, but this really needs to happen. There's a housing crisis. There's an air crisis in North America. And it's the easiest,
buying a
cheapest way to
house
get
ain't
fresh
fucking
air
easy
in.
these
It's a lot
days,
easier
man.
than remediating your house. This took me about a year, 6 months to figure out after we remediated. We kept remediating where we were living and then installing an ERV to the HVAC just fixed the air. So I wish more mold people would talk about ERVs specifically.
Yeah.
Now there are countries where these ERVs are mandated for building and health safety, and they're not mandated in America. So they're mandated in old buildings in certain countries in Europe. They're mandated because the buildings are so old they need fresh air, and in people that are in countries that are really energy efficient, they can be mandated. So I think they're mandated in Switzerland, and that's just to save on energy costs. It's just by chance helps with mold. The only places you can't use it really are in places that have extremely high humidity, like Florida. So there you could just install a filter. So I would recommend installing an ERV and something like a Super V filter to your HVAC. Then you have a contraption that sucks outdoor air, a filter that filters it, and filters everything that recirculates, and then you can have clean air in your home. And that is so important to your health. So many biohacking people, like myself, really, focused on diet and sleep.
Well, it's already
and even
they're
and air
talking.
purifier.
It's a certain type of HVAC addition for filtration that helps with mold. I forget the exact name. I've loosely been paying attention because it's not something I can even integrate in my house because I don't have HVAC. I have nothing HVAC in my house. I have no airflow running between rooms, anything else. This is an old school Northeast house. There ain't nothing like that in my crib.
Fires and things for years, but getting fresh outdoor air inside made a massive difference to my health.
No, I just
So,
jumped.
do that. IQ air filters are great too, for sure. ERVs are better.
I do just want a wall mount.
But if you're in a place like Florida where it's too
actually.
humid to
one
get
for
an
the downstairs
ERV,
and one for the upstairs.
IQ Air, get Super V filters on your HVAC.
My parents run those things religiously. My home doesn't even have HVAC. Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying, dude. Like
So
old houses
yeah,
just
get
don't
tested
have
for
any of that
parasites
bullshit.
or do parasite treatment. Get on the diet. Then you're on a ketogenic diet. And you're giving your body an alternative.
That's all I use. We have like window mounted air conditioning units and stuff. That's all we use here.
Source of fuel, plus eliminating variables your immune system.
Luckily, however, when my office was upstairs, that room used to get very, very hot because it was well insulated. It's in the top story of the house, middle of the summer, and I constantly had to run air conditioning in there. Now that I'm down in the basement and I'm tucked into the hillside, yes, during the winter I have to wear a blankie and run my heater. But I'll tell you what, I'm very hopeful for the summer in my new office that I won't even have to run air conditioning down here. It should hopefully stay nice and cool enough I won't even have to worry about it.
System might be reacting to.
That's the
plus
hope.
eliminating
That's the
variables
hope
your
anyway.
immune system might be reacting to due to a damaged gut. You're tackling gut treatment on top of that, and you're improving your air, which bad air leads to gut permeability issues. I also gave myself time. A big factor here in my lessened reactions to food could just be avoiding foods that caused inflammatory reactions for so long my body forgot to keep responding to them. With mast cell disorders, which I most certainly have, I haven't focused on that because, well, now I don't need to. I would have gotten to that eventually. But you can retrain your mast cells by taking antihistamines and mast cell stabilizers, sometimes for an extended period of time. Some mast cells train future mast cells to continue to respond to the same triggers. It's possible, in theory, that I avoided triggers for so long my mast cells literally just forgot to keep training the future mast cells on those triggers. That's a theory, though. No idea. But I do know parasite and mold treatment helped. So yeah, I think that's my recent updates. So autoimmunity and genetic psychiatric issues are, at least for me, completely curable. Pretty satisfying after 8 years. Pretty satifying. So now, more of the fun stuff.
What are you being a
plants and
crybaby
other
for?
foods after 8 years. In the last 2 months, I have tried arugula.
Yeah, I had. I mentioned window units one day. I used to play a lot of games with one of the island folk over there in the UK, and he had never even like heard of a window mounted AC like that before. Had no idea what I was talking about.
Avocado, seaweed, broccoli, broccolini, coconut, mango.
We always have one for our master bedroom so we can keep it nice and cool for sleeping, and then just like one for the top floor of the house. We have a real beefy unit that goes into the kitchen, but where my kitchen is, the doorway out of the kitchen leads right out into the main living area and stuff. So as long as you AC that kitchen and the window it's in is pointed right down the hallway, so bam. You've always seen them in movies, there you go. I'm pretty sure you can see on my video from 2 nights ago, we have a stack of them in our living room right now, one from each of the windows up there. You could probably see a stack of them in one of my videos. What are you
Vinegar,
crying
ginger,
for? I don't know why
Swiss
you're
chard,
crying. Oh, he
bok
wants to
choy,
play. He
berries,
wants to wrestle.
cucumber,
wrestle.
sweet potato,
Ah.
caviar, salmon, and chicken. It was about 6 months ago when I first tried some mango and coconut. And that was because my husband kept tempting me with ice cream. What's the ice cream company? Fronin has good mango ice cream. Anyway, he's been on the meat diet with me, but sometimes eats some other healthy foods now.
It's just
Since
outside,
he's
you
done
have
the
to
same
deal with it.
treatments as me,
No,
and
they
they've
work
worked for
really,
him
really
too.
good. Really
That's
good.
a big deal. So Jay,
They burn out quick. You only get a couple of years out of them usually. Actually, you know, that's not 100% true. We've had our 2 smaller window units for probably 5 years now, and they're just starting to be on the fritz now. We got a brand new one, a bigger one, last year, and oh my god, that thing works so good, so good.
Jeff, the husband, was also exposed to mold badly as a kid, got sick with me in Nashville and Miami along with Scarlett, did the mold and parasite treatment, and has been able to vary his diet more. Now, his symptoms weren't as severe as mine previously, but he was pretty ill prior to dietary interventions. It's been long enough of me reintroducing foods that I can fairly comfortably say the ones I've tried don't cause major problems. Sometimes an arthritic flare-up would take a number of days to trigger, sometimes weeks, although usually days, but it's been months now, no arthritis. So out of the foods I mentioned, I'm not really eating cucumber. I don't like how that makes me feel. I think I'm allergic to avocados, so I'm not doing that. And I'm sticking to a ketogenic diet
avocado.
because I still seem to feel my best staying in ketosis. So that limits the mango, coconut, and sweet potato. Chicken makes me groggy, but fish seems fine. Cooked arugula seems totally fine. I am eating so much arugula. It's so good.
It was more than just arugula, Betty. It definitely seems like there's some emphasis on arugula.
Nothing I've tried so far has been catastrophic like my food tests have been in the past. I'm using pure encapsulation digestive enzymes before I eat because I haven't eaten plants in so long. I figure my body could use a bit of help with enzymes. But honestly, it adapted pretty quickly. It wasn't this huge adaptation that I was kind of worried about. I got bloated the first couple times. Not surprising. I started the enzyme. After the first few weeks,
I don't even know what the
bloating went
fuck it
away,
is, to be honest with you.
I'm good. And that was really it. So I'm not doing cucumbers and avocado, which were the 2 raw vegetables I was eating. Well, avocado is technically a fruit, but only annoying people tell you that. So, yeah, cooked vegetables is what I'm doing. Cooked greens, basically, and meat now. So now I can say my diet consists really of 95% beef, some ginger. I've always loved ginger, and pan-fried arugula and taro. I'm back to meat and greens, which is fucking amazing. Forgive my French. This seems super restricted, but compared to just beef, it's crazy. It's like the whole world has opened up.
I'll say it. She's definitely got some emphasis on the arugula, but she's saying fish and chicken and caviar, a whole bunch of stuff she threw back in.
Out to order anything other than steak at restaurants, unless they can do something like grilled broccolini. So I'm not risking. I'm being careful. I'm not being stupid naive because I don't want to trigger anything. But
Cooked
so
lettuce,
far,
yeah,
so good, guys. Okay, I know that was a lot to catch up on. So that's it. No longer carnivore. Crazy. I will do a Q&A soon. Talk to you guys later.
All right, that was a fantastic video. That was a really good video. We looked at Reed's weigh-in. I think it was just me and Benny that looked at this earlier. Let's check out Reed's
Hey,
weigh-in
squad,
again.
so it's time for my midweek weigh-in. As I told y'all, I'm going to do 2 weigh-ins a week to try to hold me more accountable for the things
I stopped doing 2 weigh-ins a week, and he goes to 2 weigh-ins.
struggle with during the week and during the weekend. So Sunday, we were 479.6. So let's see what I am today.
What are you being a crybaby for?
Boom. $474.2. That is 5.4 pounds down since Sunday.
He started a
over
GLP
a
this week
pound
as
a
well.
day.
He started a GLP regimen.
That's absolutely crazy. I was hoping coming into this that it would be 2 to 4 pounds. So 474.2. We're back on our way.
More power to Reed. He got 5 off. We love to see it. Love to see it. What we got going on? You know, I'm not going to peruse X as much anymore. I actually got copyrighted super, super hard for perusing X the other day. Elon Musk was posting short clips of South Park, and as I was scrolling X on stream, one of the clips played for 2 seconds, and I got a worldwide copyright ban on the video for 2 seconds of South Park. I want to watch the TikTok disaster. This is actually very, very interesting stuff. What's going on with TikTok right now? Know a lot of people use TikTok. I use TikTok every day for content creation and stuff, but there's some scary stuff going on with TikTok. I'm going to take a 2-minute break to let the dog out. He's down here crying at my feet, so I'm going to let him out. I'll give you some jams. I'll be back in 2 minutes. What are you barking for? You're a lunatic. Chihuahua breed.
Over the edge, feel like I'm floating through the air. The pain I felt is paid for, all is said and done. Oh, I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still. Hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall. Fear I weighed the person you are. Oh, break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
All right. We are back. Feeling the music. We can close that out because we are not going to AFK anymore. Let's take a look at what's going on with TikTok.
All right, so TikTok, a horrible application collecting obscene amounts of data with addictive dopamine loops, has recently
amount of data
finalized a
collection going on on
divestiture
TikTok
wherein
after
the
the sale.
US-based
It's fucking
portion of the social
crazy,
media
dude.
platform has been sold off to a collection of domestic investors. It's called the TikTok USDS Joint Venture LLC. And when it finally happened, basically everyone freaked out about it. The whole thing is a bit of a carnival, to be honest. For about 6 years now, there's been a sort of tug-of-war effort to ban the application in the United States.
Yep.
But after flip-flopping back and forth over and over repeatedly, instead of
They wanted to ban it in the U.S. because how much of your data was being collected and stolen off of your phone to be utilized on the other side when it was owned by a Chinese enterprise? Listen to this.
suspending the service by presidential order, the platform was sold off to a collection of different companies, including Oracle, a cloud computing firm in charge of data protection.
Never had
and the new
TikTok. I wouldn't
algorithm.
advise it. I mean, literally the only reason I have TikTok is to put my videos out. That's it. I don't scroll TikTok. And just know right now, after you watch this video, you'll never want to have it. Because TikTok can access everything on your phone. Everything. 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 Backed by Oracle and Palantir. Crazy
Silver
shit.
Lake, an investment group holding 15%, and MGX, basically another version of Silver Lake based out of Abu Dhabi. The full consortium has a whole lot more parties involved, but today I want to talk about the deal, the panic, the reactions, and basically pick apart why the entire thing is a complete shit show, and why most people who are actually concerned about it don't even appear to be concerned for the correct reasons. Let's start with a very basic explanation of what happened and why a pretty hefty number of users are just now, for the very first time, paying attention to something that was already true for quite a while. TikTok has always had extremely invasive predatory data tracking policies. It's not that dissimilar from Facebook or Twitter or Instagram in that regard, but the sad fact of the matter is that most people just don't care. However, as a result of the governance
Well, you
shift
see
where
who it's
TikTok is
going
now
to,
controlled
though.
by a new set of companies and investors, that type of invasive policy is being put under a microscope. And it's not happening in a vacuum. There's some pretty strong political winds blowing right now, which are dramatically increasing the level of scrutiny. I want to make something abundantly clear right now. TikTok was originally banned from being installed on government devices in the United States because the concern, the primary concern, was that the application gathers far too much data from the host phone. This right here is the actual memorandum from February 2023 under the Biden administration, but the TikTok ban saga goes even further back than that. In 2020, during his first term, President Donald Trump signed Executive Order 13942, flatly prohibiting transactions between U.S. firms and TikTok parent company ByteDance, which was set to effectively remove the application from U.S. markets entirely. So when I say that this isn't a partisan issue, I hope that everyone can accept that as a fact. Anyway, the concern is data collection under a Chinese company, which is honestly somewhat valid. But after flip-flopping back and forth on the issue, with the White House eventually asking a bunch of technology companies to please step in and assume control of TikTok domestically, after they finally made up their mind, as ownership of the platform changed hands officially, all of its users in the United States were given a repeat terms of service disclosure, which they had to agree to, else they couldn't use the app.
I'm curious, how much did it sell for? Jesus. It's approximately 14 billion. Interesting. User base of 170 to 200 million. 170 to 200 million. I can't get over 700 views on that bullshit.
Application. Just to get something out of the way right now and rip the band-aid off, I guess, most of these terms remain unchanged. Most of the items that people are losing their minds over were always like that. They just didn't know or didn't care. But after a multi-year saga of threats, bans, and sanctions, the stone-cold fact here is that TikTok isn't gathering less data about its users. It's gathering more, with the only functional change being who it ultimately answers to. Let's actually take a look at a few of these terms. Quote, information we collect. Information you provide may include sensitive personal information as defined under applicable state privacy laws, such as information from users under the relevant age threshold, information you disclose in survey responses or in your user content about your racial or ethnic origin, national origin, religious beliefs, mental or physical health diagnosis, sexual life or sexual orientation, status as transgender or non-binary, citizenship or immigration status, that's a big one, or financial information. For example, we may process your financial information in order to provide you the goods or services you request from us, or your driver's license number in order to verify your identity. We may also collect
It's
precise...
just funny. What I'm highlighting here and what he's highlighting is this is why it was forced to be sold off, is what it was doing and how much it was collecting. And it's showing how bad it still really is.
Location data, depending on your settings and as explained below. We process such sensitive personal information in accordance with applicable law, such as for permitted purposes under the California Consumer Privacy Act.
There's
End
California.
By the way, they also collect things such as what's on your clipboard, whatever you're trying to copy and paste, even if it doesn't have to do with the application necessarily. They can collect your social media contacts, your phone contacts, all your private messages, basically everything, okay? TikTok scans fucking everything. Once again,
everyone worried about fucking the government tracking you, man. Every single one of us is walking around with the goddamn tracking device on us at all times now.
This kite Jew got what?
Most of that data collection policy was already true, hence the concern about banning it previously for a multitude of years. But now we have a very different political atmosphere and a very different set of investors. This is where we need context, all right? Immigration is an extremely divisive political issue in the United States right now.
Oh,
honestly,
yeah, no,
what's
that's
happening
nuts,
with
dude.
ICE,
There's no
ICE,
such thing as privacy anymore. There's no such thing as privacy. Live inside of a Faraday cage and get rid of all electronics, and maybe you'll have some privacy. Am I right? Is it a Faraday cage? I think it's a Faraday cage. Faraday cage. Wrap your phone, multiple layers, put a metal container, your cell signals to drop to zero, preventing the cage effect. Yeah, Faraday cage. Faraday cage is what I was talking about. Yep. Pretty much if you live inside of a Faraday cage, you're all right, I guess, as long as you don't use electronics or apps or anything along those lines. Dude, you should see how much info my truck can track. My truck has so much electronic fucking bullshit built in. The amount of data that Ford has on me, fucking Ford Motor Company has on me for my vehicle is insane. Insane. I loosely read through the terms and agreements, so I have an app on my phone, and I can remote start my truck. So when it's a nice cold day out, whip the phone out, press the button, shabam, truck's running. You read some of the fine print of just that app of what they're allowed to collect, like, dude, it's fucking nuts. It's nuts.
The Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the law enforcement agency, is one of the most incendiary trends I've ever seen in this country during my lifetime. Whether or not someone agrees with the stated mission of ICE as an agency, regardless of personal politics, if you were to consider the agency as military,
mandatory
it would have the fourth highest...
Didn't they rescind it where they don't have to do that anymore? I cannot stand... my truck has that feature, and you can't permanently turn it off. Every time I start the vehicle, I have to manually hit the button to turn off the auto shutdown every time you hit a stoplight. And it's so annoying. So annoying. Literally just putting strain on your motor and your starter and everything else so you can literally pretty much essentially save no fucking gas whatsoever. It's fucking ridiculous. I did see something about that though, Bucky. Isn't it no longer mandatory? Do you know PewDiePie? Yeah, I've seen PewDiePie stuff from back in the day. Actually, PewDiePie's video of the life and times of a YouTube commenter is probably one of my favorite YouTube videos of all time. It's got to be 15 years old by now. But it's absolutely fantastic.
Highest funding budget of any military in the world. The point of this video isn't to argue for or against ICE as an agency. Personally, I'm very much against a whole lot of what they're doing right now. But far beyond any sort of personal stance, what I'm trying to show is the reason why a lot of people are concerned about TikTok. Bear with me, okay? ICE, originally reported on by 404 Media and now echoed all over the internet elsewhere.
Doesn't he have a permanent live stream going on? Stuck up on a pre-2. Yeah. Doesn't he have a stream channel that just permanently plays his old content? He has a channel that plays his old content from 20 years ago or 15 years ago, however long it was. It'll have more views than I'll ever achieve in my lifetime.
ICE is seeking to employ a system called ELITE, E-L-I-T-E, which stands for Enhanced Leads Identification and Targeting for Enforcement. which is a sort of map drawing on information from the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, which also includes Medicaid.
He essentially retired. As far as I know, he essentially retired from streaming and all this stuff. That man made more money than he can spend in 5-6 lifetimes. I'm pretty sure he did. I think he got married and had kids and moved to Japan or something like that. I was 10 years old when I bought this one. My current one is the first brand new one I ever bought. First brand new vehicle I ever had. Number one YouTube legend? Oh, absolutely agree. Absolutely agree, Reggie. Man's a legend. Yep, that's pretty much how most of my vehicles were my entire life, Buck. But then this time, he still makes a video now and then. Gotcha. Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about money. That man never has to work another day in his life, I'm sure. I can only imagine. He was like the golden age of YouTube. Back when I should have been probably doing YouTube stuff. But yeah, no, awesome. More power to him.
Medicaid, by the way, for the purpose of identifying potential deportation targets. A lot of people may be thinking, what does that have to do with TikTok? So let's keep going. Because that system, Elite, made for identifying targets, is being constructed by a company, a software company, called Palantir, which is now heavily integrated all across the United States government. Agencies, law enforcement, military, you name it. With me so far? TikTok.
Essentially the beginning of Skynet.
TikTok gathers data, such as immigration status with the recent change
Do you want Skynet? That's how you get Skynet.
in ownership. People are now seeing this mandatory TOS agreement before using the application. Immigration itself is a very hot-button political topic in the United States, broadly speaking, and all of this while a turbo-funded law enforcement agency, that being ICE, works with Palantir to find more deportation targets. That's the stage, so to speak, setting the stage. But the icing on the cake, or the third act, if you will, is that Oracle, in direct control as per TikTok's new terms, direct control of data protection for the platform, Oracle has a deep strategic partnership with Palantir. Hopefully the picture is becoming clear because TikTok is not gathering less data than it did under Chinese control, it's gathering more. Except now it's gathering that data under the umbrella of a company which is deeply connected to Palantir and by extension associated with tools that are being used by ICE for the profiling and deportation of immigrants. That is where the controversy initially comes from. But it's also...
These are a time when a big YouTube channel wasn't just a company with employees. Yeah, for sure. You can literally, like, dude, a channel big enough with employees, you can literally tell the difference. You can actually tell the difference between, like, look at my videos compared to, like, Steak and Butter Gal and stuff. Like, dude, it's just night and day. You have an enterprise where you have employees and editors and all this other stuff and people doing the social media posts throughout the day and shit. Because as someone who's currently trying to do it, there's no physical way to keep up with the rate of these red cameras. Gotcha. Yeah, it was it's physically impossible for these people to post videos like they do, handle social media like they do, have downtime, creation time, stream time, live time. Like you can't do the amount those bigger channels do without employees. You can't do it. Most of the big ones, you have multiple people handling social media, all of the posts, all the other stuff. They probably send over the posts they're putting out and everything for final authority to send them. You check on those, then editing, all that's. You shoot your video and you pass it all off. Editor throws the entire video together perfect with interjections and cutscenes and all the other stuff, and like, it's impossible. Like, dude, you see how low my video output is on like the long forms and stuff. It's so much work for me for one person. Like, it's nuts.
Also, not everything.
It's nuts.
Oracle is owned by one of the richest men in the world. Actually, briefly, he dethroned Elon Musk as the richest man in the world, on paper at least. His name is Larry Ellison. And again, not to make the video too political, he's a staunch ally of the current administration. He once hosted a 6-figure buy-in campaign event on his property for Donald Trump. He donates tens of millions of dollars, often through a particular action committee, ironically called Opportunity Matters. He donates tens of millions of dollars across the Conservative Party, including current figures like Secretary of State Marco Rubio. And he does this while snapping up various different companies, such as CBS and even potentially the parent company of CNN, if he gets his way, turning himself into a new age media mogul. The idea that billionaires are controlling our lives has never been more true than it is right now today. And at the very same time, people are suddenly confronted by the same sort of predatory data harvesting agreement that they've willingly accepted for years, only this time, the political temperature is through the roof. How about another issue, one that's even more relevant when you consider the type of videos I've recently produced, and that is Epstein. Let's keep something in mind. In December of 2025, the DOJ, the Department of Justice, was lawfully ordered by Congress and signed off by the president. They were lawfully ordered to release the Epstein files. December 19th was the deadline for that, with as little redactions as possible as per the law. They just didn't do it. Full stop.
The two political parties in America, there's more than two. They just don't stand a chance of winning ever. There's the Tea Party, Green Party, all this other stuff. There's multiple small ones. They don't stand a chance of winning. More than 10, yeah. We do have multiple ones. They don't have. There's so much money backing the other two parties that the smaller ones, they just can't stand a chance. They can't advertise, tour, do everything they got to do. Like the Green Party, I want to say the Green Party is probably the third biggest, but there's multiple ones here. My sister is going to school, I forget the term, but film. Basically, I think she's made a few short movies that were surprisingly good. I think Carryman does most of his shooting. Yeah. No, it's like you do all the shooting and stuff. Like the shooting's one thing, but it's like when you have an editor. So it's like you guys have seen me on stream edit like shorts and stuff like that, and I can edit a decent short in like 10 minutes. Libertarian's the third biggest. Gotcha. I thought it was Green. So we do have multiples, Rochi. It's just they don't have the financial backing of billionaires like the Dems and Republicans do. So they're just never going to win anything. It's all just money. But yeah, no, it's shooting's one thing, but it's like having the ability to pass all of that footage. You just send the files to your editor and they go through and turn it into this perfectly polished video. They know how to do all the 3D graphics and certain rendering tricks and all this stuff, and like DaVinci Resolve or CapCut or Adobe, like whatever the big programs are. And it's so much easier. Like if I had that ability just to shoot my footage, pass it off to someone else, it gets polished, they send me the final version to get approval on, and it goes out. Like that alone is so much time. Like especially long forms. Like, dude, my long form videos, look at the last couple I took out. Believe it or not, the oxtail one, the oxtail broth, I actually edited that. I think that only took me like an hour and a half to 2 hours to edit. But look at other ones. Look at the food pyramid one I did. Look at what was one of the other ones? The big one I did for losing 105 pounds, or the 100-pound loss finally. I did a long form on that. Those took me 5-6 hours of editing when I'm trying to stream every day and also do shorts and do all this. Like, dude, it's so much. And then keep up on X. I got to be posting and interacting 20 times a day on X. Like, it's just so much for one person. And then, as I always say, on top of that, I actually need to lose the weight for you guys. I actually have to get my gym trips in, diet in, and all that stuff and get that locked in. It's a lot. It's a lot for one person. It really is. So anyone who successfully runs social media stuff and does it on their own, mad respect, because I had no idea what I was getting into. I thought when I started doing this, I was going to work, put in 4 or 5 hours of work a day and everything was going to be fantastic and I have all this downtime. This is more than any job I've ever worked. This is 12, 13, 14-hour days every single goddamn day except Saturday, Sunday. And now even those are starting to get busy. Because Saturday, Sunday is when I'm not streaming. That's when I'm doing all my long-form stuff now. Rare for a third party to even get 1%. Yeah, Ross Perot goes, go, Ross. Remember the old phrase, go, Ross Perot was the chant? I remember, man. I was there. I was there, Gandalf, 2,000 years ago. He goes 15%. Other than that, not even close. Gary Johnson got a few percent during Hillary Trump. Yeah. They'll never touch office. They just won't.
Stop. In total, they released something like 1 or 2% of the files. They massively over-redacted practically everything,
of the files is
and then
gone.
they just stopped. The DOJ is openly, flagrantly violating.
All right, so we're going to take a look. Okay, so here's essentially what has been released. is essentially that's about the Epstein files right there. Everything they released is so fucking redacted. It's an absolute joke.
Violating the law
Absolute
and
laughing
refusing to
stock.
release the files. But then, somehow, coincidentally, after control of TikTok gets handed to a company that's owned by a political ally of the current administration, suddenly the word Epstein starts getting censored. There's a lot of videos now showcasing that when using the word Epstein in a direct message, the message won't send, showing a community guidelines violation notice instead. And while I wasn't able to replicate this myself, I don't have a TikTok account at all.
It's all, I mean, everything that wasn't supposed to be redacted. The law that went through, the Transparency Act, none of it's supposed to be redacted except for the victims' identities and stuff like that and victim details. There was literally the special investigation on Ghislaine Maxwell was the entirety of it. It was like all 50 pages, literally every single thing redacted. Every single fucking thing, dude. Fucking just a joke, dude. I've said it since 2019, dude. You will never see justice or accountability. It will not happen.
All personally,
It's
but I
never
asked a few
gonna
people
happen.
that do, and they weren't able to replicate it either. Even if I wasn't able to recreate that notice myself, there's enough examples, by far more than enough examples
Billionaires are
out
the
there,
victims. Oh,
proving
yeah,
that to
you
some
know.
degree, the word
yeah,
Epstein
yeah.
was
Pretty much
specifically
it.
being flagged and censored. This came during a spree of other issues as well, such as videos getting 0 views and the algorithm being all fucked up, which TikTok now claims was a result of a
TikTok did completely crash the other day. TikTok was down for like 36 hours or something. I couldn't figure it out because I kept trying to post on there and get whatever video I was doing a couple days ago. I kept trying to put it out and it just crashed every single time.
data center outage, but I'm finding it incredibly hard to believe that while the administration is actively covering up the Epstein files and breaking the law to stop them from coming out, with a staunch political ally assuming direct control of TikTok data security, suddenly TikTok censors the word Epstein. Yeah, I'm finding that a little bit impossible to accept as a mere coincidence. I think a lot of people right now are concerned for some of the wrong reasons. TikTok has always had invasive data collection practices. There's nothing new with
I
that.
gotta take a call, guys.
But a more important figure is looking at what they're willing to hand over to third parties or authorities. Even before the change in control, TikTok had a standing policy that they will subjectively hand over pretty much whatever the government asks for in, quote, limited emergency situations. Big air quotes around that. But who defines emergency in these cases? As per their own disclosures from 2019 to 2025, the number of granted law enforcement disclosures increased by more than 100 times. What do we realistically think is going to happen here when instead of a Chinese company harvesting all of your data for illicit purposes, now it's an American company harvesting even more of your data for illicit purposes? One of those is a long-standing public outcry-worthy threat to national security, so they say. But the other is perfectly fine? No, it's not. And right now, a lot of people are being forced to confront the fact that the American government isn't necessarily default good when it comes to technology control and surveillance. Anecdotally, a massive number of people are now claiming targeted political suppression on the platform, and maybe some of it's wrong or exaggerated or the result of a data center issue, as TikTok now claims. Who knows? But one thing is abundantly clear, and that is the lack of reform. Because the transition of TikTok from a Chinese-owned application to a consortium-owned US application has changed absolutely none of the core issues it was supposed to change. Meanwhile, a TikTok competitor called Upscrolled has catapulted all the way to the number 2 slot on daily app downloads, purely as a result of people waking up to the reality of how invasive the data collection on social media actually is. I don't think this particular application will dethrone TikTok, not by a long shot. But it's a testament to the fact that when the time is right, when the political winds align, and when there's reason enough to care.
My appointment. Waiting to find out what's going on. I'm on hold here real quick. I'll go in about 2 more minutes and I'll be right back. Sorry about that. They usually have the nurse call ahead of the virtual appointments to get all your details and weigh-in numbers and all that stuff. So, we'll work on finishing this video real quick. I probably only have a couple minutes. I got my ringer on now so I don't miss the next call. So we will go till I get the call.
Real implications of they're tracking what I do, which unfortunately sometimes doesn't seem to matter on the surface to hardly anyone. In a situation where all of these factors coincidentally align, people genuinely seem to wake up and care, which is what's appearing to happen right now on TikTok. The TikTok disaster isn't actually anything new. It's just a realignment of which government is harvesting your data and what they're using it for, which also happens to come during a perfect storm of political backlash, giving people an adequate reason to care about something that they should have always cared about. At the end of the day, I'm certainly not angry about that fact. It's an undeniable good thing that people are reading these terms and saying, well, wait a second, that's not good at all. But some of this stuff has been objectively bad since the very first time it showed up in a terms agreement. And it's been a long time since that happened. Get this, okay? From the current TikTok consumer health data policy.
Where's the next stream? Quote, tomorrow. Tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Noon Eastern. Normal time tomorrow. Normal time tomorrow. And I'm going to have a big talk with you guys tomorrow. We'll see what's going on. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, Saturday will mark 60 days of lion diet. 90 was the goal. We might be stopping at 60 and going back to carnivore. Not 100% yet. We're going to see, though. We'll talk it over on stream tomorrow. Pros, cons, ups,
we may
downs.
collect information from and about you, including information.
Also, exciting news about Rumble. I don't know if any of you guys keep up with Rumble at all. Rumble is YouTube's biggest competitor. And Rumble is actually integrating shorts finally in like the next week or two. I think it's going to happen. So I'm going to be putting a lot of focus on Rumble. A lot of focus on Rumble. It's an excellent platform. It's YouTube without all the bullshit.
Information that you provide, automatically collected information, and information from other sources. And then further down, information about your physical and mental health conditions that you or others choose to provide in the content that you create or upload through the services. For example, you or others may provide such information if you compose, send, or receive messages through the service's messaging functionalities, create or post non-public user content discussing a recent illness, or search for information about an illness or condition through the service's search function. End quote. Simplified, okay, they'll scan all of your messages and everything else you upload to identify health-related information, among many other things, so that they can use it on and off platform for advertising and selling and God knows what else. This has always been true. It's not even a new policy, but the level of alarm we're finally seeing, thankfully, is approaching the level it should have been at way back in the beginning when Facebook did it, or Instagram, or Twitter, or anyone else. Bottom line, TikTok is receiving a strong dose of rightfully deserved backlash after changing hands at the conclusion of a multi-year saga where "we should ban this for safety reasons" turned into "we should just do everything that they were doing and more to our own citizens." That's basically what happened. Anyway, that's it. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. A special VPN deal, as always. Great discount there. Also,
always use a VPN, friends. Always use a VPN. No matter what you do, use a VPN. Very, very nice. Very, very safe. All right, guys. that is going to wrap it up for today. Again, apologies, it's a short stream, but we're going to get some weight loss doctor. I'll have a video out this afternoon about how things go with the weight loss doctor. I'll probably have one out about physical therapy this afternoon, so I will have a couple videos out this afternoon for you guys. And yeah, it's been a blast. It was a short stream. It's been real. I will be live tomorrow at the normal time. Pleasure having you all here. Existence, if you're still over there on Kick, man, appreciate you hanging out and lurking. Love new folks, love new faces. Lurking is love. Lurking is indeed love. Bucky Roachy, see you guys later. We will talk to you all tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Bye-bye. What's normal time? 12 Eastern. 12 Eastern. Noon on the dot. Noon to 4 is the new hours. Although we will be talking tomorrow. Stream schedule might change up. We might be going from 4 days a week down to 3 starting next week, and that will give me a lot more time for long form stuff. But we'll see. Big stream tomorrow. Lots of stuff to go over. We'll go from there. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Enjoy it. Get some motion in. Motion creates emotion. Love y'all. Bye-bye. So done or Western for you. Gotcha. Got them EU hours. There you go.